How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out a video. Right, guys, it's after midnight now, so yesterday was a long day. I was back at the University of Salford speaking to the second-year criminology students. It's like grass, it grows every year, so first years become second years become third years. It's the second time I've been back there speaking. I'm working exclusively with them. I don't receive a penny for my time. It's very, very like nerve-wracking, the idea of sitting in front of people. Like, there's different modules. Like, criminology has always interested me, forensic psychology and criminology has always interested me, but I was never academic in school and stuff. I got the attention span of a goldfish. And when you go to these universities and stuff, right, like when I went last year for the first time on the 5th of December, which is now today's date, so year today, when I first went to that university to speak to the students, I had a stereotype in my mind that these students were going to be middle class, rich, pompous, stuck up, and look down the nose at me. That wasn't the case at all. A lot of the criminology students at the Salford University on the criminology course are actually people from the estates and stuff, same estates I'm from, same sort of upbringing as me, same sort of childhood, same sort of life. The dads are in prison, the brothers have been in prison, the cousins have been in prison. So they could relate to me a lot, so it's a bit crazy. And you do bare your soul. I mean, when you sat there, if you can imagine sat in like an auditorium or it's like a cinema, just the rows get higher and higher and higher and stuff, and it's like arched across and stuff. And you sat there, like for the first hour, one of the doctors of criminology, they speak, and I'm sat there, and I'm very mindful that I'm about to like air my soul and bare my soul to these people, to these students that I don't know, they don't know me, they can't relate to me, or I thought they couldn't relate to me. And like, criminology is such a vast like subject and stuff, and it's broken down into modules and theories and things like that. So today I was speaking on desistance, which is the second time I've spoken on desistance, and I'm back there in 2019 speaking on a violence module and then a prison module. Now, the thing is that there's a lot of people that watch this channel that have got experience of the criminal justice system, and they should be coming forward. My experiences are no different. I didn't ask for this opportunity. I was contacted on Twitter, like I say, probably a year and a half ago. Said, look, can we have a meet up? Can we have a coffee with you? And I was like, yep. I didn't see, obviously I was like, what are they reaching out for me for? Went and had a coffee with them both. Lovely, lovely people, very warm, very welcoming, very, again, academics intimidated me, and I was interested. Like, I thought, well, they give me the time to contact me, so the least I can do is go and meet them. Didn't think anything would come of it, and then I just, being me, I just give them chapter and verse and spoke as I'm speaking to you with no filter. They picked the bones out of it, saw great potential in me, which I didn't see myself because I'm not the most confident of people, and was like, look, we've got this thing coming up in December. This was last year, guys. We'd love you to come and speak to the students. So I was like, nerve-wracked, scared, intimidated, but come on, let's do it. So life's all about life experience for me, guys. When I was born and when I was growing up, I used to, especially when I was growing up, I used to overthink things, right? And think, oh, what if I have no life experience? And the reality is I've got more than most, and I'm 34. I turned 35 in 10 days' time on the 15th of December, but I don't celebrate my birthday. But yeah, it's a mad thing. Like I say, with desistance, for those that don't know, desistance means coming away from crime. How did I desist from crime? So I told them what had gone on. I told them about my criminality, about, like I say, illegal activity, prison, life after prison, the struggle being an ex-offender and struggling to gain employment because people see you as a criminal and criminals are not trustworthy and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very, very much like, again, today it was another class of students, so you don't know what you're going to get. As soon as I sat down, there was a girl that came over. She followed me on Twitter. She was interacting with me and stuff. Really lovely girl. A dad had spent time in prison, so she could relate to me. I could relate to her. So yeah, it breaks down barriers and stuff, and it's about networking at the end of the day. But anyone that's been through prison and through the criminal justice system and been like suffered violence and stuff, these are all modules like prison, violence modules, and desistance, coming away from crime. If you are indeed away from crime, you can use them experiences and get paid. I don't get paid for mine. Mine's voluntarily. I could get paid £50 an hour for doing what I'm doing. Other universities, you can get like £36 an hour, which is legal money, guys. Like I said, it doesn't sound like very much, but when you're a thick, uneducated streaker with no discernible skills or GCSEs behind your name, £50 an hour is... I used to do the doors for £10 an hour. I was over the moon with that. So £50 an hour, if I was getting paid, would be a lot of money. Now, all of you guys here that are watching this, that have been through the criminal justice system, make yourself available to schools, colleges, and universities. I mean, again, today, through being back at the university, I sat down with one of the doctors of criminology, a lovely lady, and she said, look, would you come into my son's school, who's like he's 15, 16, he's in year 11, would you come and speak to these students with me at the school on a 2-hour slot? Again, very nerve-wracking and stuff, because again, I'm used to now, even though I've only done it twice, I'm used to speaking to criminology students and stuff, and how they, like, based around theories and stuff, and about desistance and stuff. There's no right or wrong answer. It is a theory. It's exactly that. So yeah, she just asked me would I do it. So I'm a social chameleon, guys. I've got to become, if you put me in a room with a load of posh, snobby people, I can hold my own. If you put me in a group with a load of young lads and stuff, like a load of youths, yeah, that are talking, oh yeah, bro, and all that, then I can bring myself down to that level as well, because at the end of the day, I've been there and done that. And obviously, I've got to be very careful when I go into this school in 2 weeks' time, that I don't glamorize the subject of gangs and violence and prison's a badge of honor and all that nonsense and stuff. I mean, I've got to be careful, because these are impressionable young lads who may or may not be on the verge of going into that life. And like I say, if you go in and glamorize it and stuff, like they're going to see pictures of bling and like the jewelry and the watches and the cars and the money and the women. And that does go on, but that's a very small percentage that get that, those that are earning the top dollar. Do you know what I mean? I've lived that lifestyle to an extent myself. I've been out, I've been drinking. When we was doing what we was doing, involved in the drug trade, which I say to my shame, because I see what drugs does to people and to societies and to families, and fuels a cycle of crime and stuff. We used to go out, we used to hit we'd be on the Hennessy, we'd be on the Grey Goose vodka, we'd be on the Cristal, and we was living like rock stars and stuff. Money was no object. But as you get older and stuff, like I say, you realise when you end up in prison, crime doesn't pay in the long run, because eventually you get caught and eventually end up paying the piper. And then you've got to look at the knock-on effects of being in prison. Like, it can affect your relationship, it can affect your home life, it can damage your living like arrangements, because you can lose your property. If you want to go straight, you struggle because you've got an ex-offender tag, because you've been in prison. Because there becomes with age comes maturity, guys, and you've got to eventually, you want to turn your life around, you want to come away from it. It took me 3 stretches in prison to do that. Again, I came away from crime for my mum, because it was affecting her psychologically, emotionally, and not to mention financially. I'm no different to anybody on here. I don't have ideas of grandeur. I'm not above people. If anything, I put myself right down. I'm a thick, uneducated street kid. That's just the way it is. I dumb it down, I play it down. It's very easy when people are giving you compliments and telling you, oh, you're great at this and you're great at that, and you get positive feedback. It's very, very, very easy to become an egotistical maniac or narcissistic. But I'm none of that stuff, man. I mean, I'm just a thick, uneducated street kid from Manchester that's hoping that the aim of this video is so that anyone that's been in prison for months, decades, years, whatever, right? Speak out. Make yourself readily available. I can get you on interviews and stuff. I can get you on documentaries. I can get you interviews on prisons and crime and gun crime and knife crime and policing levels and prison and all the usual stuff, right? I can get anybody on that sort of stuff. I do. That's what people contact me for. And I like to make them connections and stuff. I want to make a prison database where you guys hit me up with your details, and then I can detail it all down and log it and say, right, you need someone that's got an experience of this. Here's the number, with your permission, obviously. But yeah, speaking at the uni, guys, was a great pleasure again. It's very, very... You sat there for the first hour. I walked into the auditorium today, and it was bigger than the last one, the auditorium. And some of the students are engaged, some of them are not, some of them are quite introverted and won't ask questions. Others will ask questions. And I used the nervous energy to my advantage. Again, I mastered it. I got it on a lead and I walked it. And the feedback was great and stuff. But I'm not really... There was a certain person that came over to me and went, well, I've had a similar life to you. She doesn't know the first thing about my life. She just knew about a little bit about my criminality. And said, oh, well, I was like you, but I had the same life as you, but I didn't turn to crime. And my attitude was, well, good for you. Just because you didn't doesn't mean I didn't. But it was, again, it's nice to see, and it's nice to use your... I've taken so much from so many people. It's nice to give something back in some regard. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop waffling on. I've waffled on long enough. Let me know what you think about the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.